hello out there in YouTube land. Today we're going to take a look at the new Ursa Cine 12K large format cinema camera. This is our new A camera at Young One Studio. We got this in maybe about a month ago. We're very excited to have it. I'm not gonna do a bit of a technical review here. There's a million technical reviews online. I'm gonna just talk about what it's like to actually own and operate this camera as a small independent filmmaker. A little bit about myself. I am a director, cinematographer, writer, sometimes I'm an actor. Today I am a YouTube reviewer. So this isn't scripted because I wanna take you guys through this in terms of what I liked, what I didn't like, what I have liked so far, what I wish they would improve on. Overall, I absolutely love this camera. There's a few little things here and there that I would change, but I'll get into that in a minute. So let's take a look. First thing that is extremely handy, as you'll notice, oh, I just woke up the other screen. So screens on both sides. Now, to be honest, when I got this, I was wondering about this. I was wondering about if I have an AC. My AC has his own monitor and his own setup, and he brings everything. Didn't really think this was going to get much use. But truth be told, so far, even if my AC has his own monitor, I have found a few times they will stand near my camera when the camera's on my shoulder or the camera's on sticks. If their little station is in another room or they haven't wheeled it close enough, they can stand there right next to me or right with the director, or if I'm the director, right with me and the cinematographer. And we can monitor the action together. I can look at it here, he can look at it there. Also for playback on a separate shoot, where I was just the DP, had the director reviewing footage here, didn't need a director's monitor. It was a late night run and gun type of shoot. We're getting some pickup shots for a short film. Typically, I would have to spin the camera, take it off my shoulder, flip this around, really kind of like wrestle the camera to be like, here's the footage, hold it on an angle, versus I had it on my shoulder and I had the director standing directly next to me. When I hit cut and played back, oh, sorry, no. Even as I was getting the take, she was watching it live here on the side of the camera, standing next to me. Few instances, we shot an interview setup a couple of days ago. Director was, again, similar situation. The director, we could have had a monitor, we could have had a 5-inch, a 7-inch, or a 22-inch monitor set up. But because we had this, she was directing and viewing right next to the camera here. So this, so far, has been incredible. I was wondering, I thought it was maybe a waste of space. I'd like a handle here, but on every shoot I've been on, this has found a use so far. So big ups to Blackmagic for kind of foreseeing how useful this would be. This is amazing. It's super, super bright. It's super crispy. I have locked the screen a few times. There's a little lock button just here. I run this on a Cine saddle, and there have been a couple of times where I noticed I was bumping the volume control knobs here on the Cine saddle. To avoid that, I locked it and away we go. I wish I was looking through the settings and I haven't found it yet. I wish we could turn this off, completely off, just to save battery life. I find if I don't need this, I turn the brightness down to absolutely 0. I get it as dim as I can to save battery life, which leads me to my next thing about battery life. The EVF is insane. This is the best. I've used the ARRI EVFs. I stuck with model numbers, I'm so sorry. ARRI EVFs are great. They're wonderful. They've got a lot of control. The little flip out screen is wonderful. This may be, I'm just gonna chuck it out there and say, this might be the best EVF in the world at the moment, period. It doesn't weigh anything. When you take this off and you hold this outside of its little attachment here, it feels like it's maybe like a demo floor unit. It feels like it won't break. I wanna make that clear. It feels extremely sturdy. I know Blackmagics are all now being made of this like metal carbon fiber composite thing, which is, I absolutely love. I've always used Blackmagics, and this one has a very similar aesthetic and feel to the pocket cinema camera in terms of what it's made of. but much, much thicker. But I'm getting distracted. Back onto the EVF. The EVF is incredible. It is super lightweight. It is, it's crazy sharp and clear and crystal. I'm getting so excited I'm forgetting what I'm saying. It's just beautiful. I used to have the Zacuto EVFs on some old cameras, and they were great, they were fine. I had the Chameleon Pro on my last camera, which was a wonderful EVF, but it would fog up and the screen was a little bit small. This one, huge screen, super sharp, really big image, controls right here, bunch of functions. At the moment I have what? Zoom, exposure, false color, peaking, and my LUT on and off. And then the record button has a little kind of nubbly raised bit so you can just feel it by eye, hit it and away you go. USB-C, very excited if you can't tell. USB-C, this is insane. They give us an extremely long USB-C cable with this to feed from the front. The signal and the power from USB-C is phenomenal. Always having to play around with LEMO cables or DTAP cables to a 4-pin or a 5-pin. Having 2 cables, SDI coming in and out and wires running everywhere. This is a freaking game changer. Camera companies everywhere, please start using USB-C for everything. It's just better. SDI, yes, I get it. I love SDI, it locks, it's secure. This USB-C locks, there's these little locking pins on each one, you just screw them in and away you go. There's no way that's coming out. These cables are cheap. This is the one that came with the camera. I've tested it with a bunch of random USB-C cables. They all work. They all send the signal. They all power it, no issues. I'm thinking about figuring out a way to fasten this EVF to my eye. If I'm handheld with the camera here, I can just have a USB-C cable, excuse me, and this is light enough that I can strap the EVF to my face and wear it like an eye patch and just have the camera floating around. USB-C EVF, second favorite thing about the camera. Next, not enough people are talking about this screen. Anyone who's used the Ursa, I've had the Ursa G1, G2, and 12K. So this is my natural evolution of Blackmagic's. This screen has sucked on all the other Ursas. Why am I the only other person that thinks that? This screen is absolutely junk on the other cameras. On this camera, thank you, Blackmagic. Thank you. I think they've just taken the screen that they had in the back of their Cinema 6K. Yeah, 6K Pro, I think maybe. I know this one's 1500 nits. They just took the big, beautiful 5-inch, ultra sharp, ultra vibrant, ultra accurate, bright, lovely touch screen from those cameras and whacked it on the side of this one. I'm gonna segue into my next point. This camera's quite big. It's about 2 inches bigger than the Ursa 12K. For about a week, I had the 12K and this camera. I own both. When this is by itself, you don't really notice. When it's next to the 12K, this is a big camera. 2 things that make it big in the build is the 5-inch monitor and then the media module. To get the 5-inch monitor, I don't mind that it's a little bit bigger. That leads me into my third favorite thing. What was that? That was my, what did I say first? I said the screen on this side is incredible. I said the EVF is incredible. Then I said this 5-inch screen is incredible. So the fourth thing that I absolutely love is the media module. I was kind of worried about the media module. But just because I'm trying to make this more aesthetically pleasing as I review, I was concerned about this media module because how do I read the data, right? I can't take it out. I don't have their big 3-bay thing. I'm not gonna have, 24 terabytes worth of data coming in and out of my studio. There's 2 things about this media module. One thing I love, one thing that kind of worries me a little bit. The thing I love is there's 8 terabytes built into the camera. Everyone's going crazy over that fact. They should be. That fact is crazy. I'm just gonna check that I'm still recording. I am. That is crazy. Being able to know that you can set this camera into any setting, open gate 12K, 3:1, constant bitrate, any anamorphic mode, 12K, 9K Super 35, 8K, 4K, whatever you want, it's just gonna record fine. Absolutely fine. I've had this camera running on a shoot so far for like 10 hours straight. It pumps out a bunch of heat, that's another point I'll get to, but at no point ever did I feel like it was gonna skip a frame or stop recording. I'm not gonna lie, every single Blackmagic camera I've ever owned, there's been a tiny little bit of worry in the back of my head because my cameras are great. I buy the best CFast cards I can, the best CFast Express, CFast 2.0 in the Ursas. In my mind, I'm like, well, I got the best cards. They're not gonna stop. They always stop. At least once or twice within the span of 6 months. It'll be either we're shooting in the desert, we're shooting in full heat. One day the camera just decides to be really grumpy and doesn't want to record in a certain bitrate, a certain resolution. It's not the camera, it's the cards. I'll pop the card out and it's boiling hot and I'm like, well, yeah, of course it stopped recording. It throttled and the card just couldn't keep up anymore. This, I didn't know. This might, ladies and gentlemen, this might replace me loving this a lot more than I realized. I thought this was superfluous, remember, but this has been wildly useful. I'm excited to get on to other shoots just to see what naturally happens on this side of the camera. It's kind of like it's opening up this whole other sort of workflow and process on set that I never knew could exist. Just because there's a monitor here, it's interesting stuff. This module, because I know I am so safe, I've never had that feeling with Blackmagic before. Truth be told, I've shot on everything. I've shot on Venices, I've shot on Alexas, I've shot on a bunch of Reds. They're all great. All these cameras are great. If you want tech specs on any of them, go somewhere else. If you can't get a good image out of cameras of this caliber, the problem is you, not the camera. On all of those cameras, no matter what media is in there, there's always that little voice in the back of my head going, oh, how's the media going? Is it gonna overheat? Am I gonna drop a frame? It's gonna be fine. This, touch wood, I mean, I've had it for a month. I've shot with it a bit. Something might happen down the line, like I might drop a frame for some reason, but I have none of that feeling. I don't know if it's because it's a sled design, it's a hard drive designed specifically for this camera. It's all gone. I'm rolling longer. I want to do more takes. I want to just roam around getting a bunch of B-roll a lot more. I want to film a lot more because I know I'm safe with this module. It's crazy. It's a game changer. Now onto the thing I don't like about it. How do you give this to a DIT on set? Indie budgets, indie productions. We're not going to be shooting enough media to justify having a 3-sled bay for me to have 2 more of these on standby to just hand off this to a DIT who needs the Blackmagic bay to be able to read this drive. I can't give them the camera to offload via USB-C or Ethernet because I'm still shooting or we're still working. So whatever you've set in camera and whatever your time limit is, that's kind of your set for that day. But in saying that, the record rates are huge. Let's have a very quick look, right? I'm in 12K 3:1 open gate. Gets me 3 hours and 3 minutes. I know some of you are like, oh my God, that's nothing. That's a lot. I had two terabyte cards in my Ursa 12K. And I would constantly be worrying, on top of worrying about the cards overheating and dropping frames and losing recording, I was constantly like, crap, I'm gonna fill my cards. Oh crap, I've only got 4 terabytes, or I've only got 2 terabytes. This 8 terabytes, seeing the number, seeing 3 hours in 12K 3:1 open gate, that's a ton of footage. Let's drop it down. Let's go to 8:1, 5 hours. 4 hours, 51 minutes. I'm gonna round up 5 hours of recording. Let's go 12:1, 12K open gate. 7 hours and 15 minutes of footage. Now, as you may have seen online, when you drop down to 8K, we don't lose any dynamic range. We don't lose any sensor readout. So let's go back, 8K open gate, 3:1. We get 4 hours. 4 hours and 6 minutes. Can you see I'm trying to get the most time out? 5:1 gives us 6 hours and 48 minutes in 8K, 5:1 open gate. 8:1, 8:1, 8K open gate, 8:1 shooting in Blackmagic RAW gets us 10 hours and 47 minutes of footage on this drive. So you're fine. You are totally okay in terms of runtime. But I reiterate, how do you get this to your DIT? Who do I hand this to? No one. This means every single shoot I do from now on, I have to bring the footage home myself, upload it to something else, and then give it to whoever needs it. I can't dump it on set yet. At the very end of the day, I like to pack down my camera, get it in its hard case, get everything put away. I think I need to get into the process of bringing a LAN cable, bringing a Ethernet to USB-C adapter maybe. I need to do some testing. The Ethernet offloads data lightning fast. The USB-C port doesn't do it as fast. It's a pretty big difference. It's like 2 hours on USB-C versus 15 minutes versus Ethernet. I'm gonna do some more experimenting to see if I go Ethernet into an adapter into USB-C, if it gives me those Ethernet speeds. I'm sure someone in the comments might know and they're gonna put that down there. But I'm still figuring that out. Getting data off on set and giving it to people who need it on the day, don't know yet. Haven't figured that out. Gonna get back to 3:1 12K. So next thing, oh, 2 more things. So my next favorite thing, all the buttons light up. Oh my gosh, that's huge. There's a brightness button here on the outside of the screen, which is wonderful. Don't know if you guys can see that right now, but it's actually changing the intensity of the buttons. So if I'm working on a really dark set, I put it on the lowest. If I'm working in full daylight, usually I don't need it, or I put it on the highest. You can turn it off completely. But you can't turn that off completely, still. Blackmagic, please add an update where I can turn this monitor off. Let's save some battery. Let's move a little bit quicker. This is stunning, stunning. It's kind of like Blackmagic have just taken all the most like vibrant, poppy, crisp. Yeah, when I open DaVinci Resolve, I think clean and crisp and high resolution. All the interface is sharp and clean and colorful and very neat. Even the fonts are beautiful in their editing software. They've taken all of that from DaVinci Resolve and put it here. This camera feels like a physical iteration of DaVinci Resolve. It sounds kind of weird, but the one place where I see that the most is this screen here. It is very high resolution for a little screen. It is super bright, super colorful, super clear. I have really good eyes, thank you, LASIK. And this screen, I could see from across the room. When brightness was up full, I could see everything on it. I could see the white balance, I could see the shutter angle, I could see, oh, shutter, what did I say? Did I say shutter angle? Degrees, oh my God, I'm so sorry. I am filming this on a Sony a7C2, which is also a stills camera. It's my camera for stills, but it has a great hybrid video mode, as you can see right now. 180, 24, white balance, ISO, tint. How much is left on my card, on my sled? M2, what do we call it? The M2 sled, the Blackmagic sled. 3:1, 12K, and my LUT is turned on. And it even gives me a little battery life, which looks very much like a mobile phone, 100 with green and 100% written on it, which is cool. I'm like segueing between my points really well right now, which leads me to the battery life. I don't know yet. I'm still out in terms of battery life. This is a chunky boy. This is a 270 watt B-mount battery from Indie Pro Tools. Cost me about 500 bucks. I was just looking for the most power I could get for the least amount of money. This is what I found. Great battery, it's really big. It's very heavy, but it runs and it just keeps running. Full shooting day, I'll get through 2 of these. In saying that though, so far that means full shooting with the EVF plugged in, this screen fairly bright, and this screen mostly dimmed down to nothing. That's what I get. If I had full brightness, and this plugged in, I I'm not sure. It's a power-hungry camera. I'm gonna tell you that. It burns more energy than any other Ursa I've ever owned, by far. But for the clarity and brightness of both of these screens, including the one that I thought would be absolutely pointless, and this incredible EVF. Guys, if you aren't even looking at buying this camera, just get down to a store that has it just to look at this EVF. It is, I'm gonna say it again, I think it's the best EVF in the world at the moment. It's phenomenal. Blackmagic, how are you doing this? Holy crap, for this price point, I know it's expensive, but comparatively, it is not expensive. I hate when people say that to me. I'm just gonna say, sorry I said that, but it's true. That's the majority of stuff. All the physical buttons are very, very similar to what has been on every Ursa before. They all just now have a beautiful rubbery tactile feel. They go in a lot deeper when you press them, which is really nice. The ND, by the way, and I'm back. Someone came in, dogs went crazy, whole room exploded. It was wild. I sat down, I recorded the second half, realized my microphone had like flipped and was pressing against my chest. Couldn't hear anything. So this is the second time I'm doing the second half of the video. Let's see if I can remember what the hell I was talking about. All right, first is the NDs. Handy little thing. They go orange when they're on, and they go back to white when they're off. Also, there's this nice little green confirmation kind of press when you press it. Goes green for like 1 second. This comes back to just the buttons being backlit. That's a huge thing. In dark shoots, the amount of times I've like been squinting and trying to tilt the camera to catch some light somewhere to see a button. I've had Blackmagic cameras for years. I still can't just like, yep, buttons here, here, here. So backlit buttons, that actually might be the best damn thing about this camera. That upgrade alone, priceless. Actually, a bit expensive, but priceless. What was I talking about? I was talking about needs a cage. I did mention that. Definitely needs a cage. Right now, I'm very limited to what I can put on here. It looks cool, but it doesn't quite look like a finished rig of a cinema camera because I can't mount anything. Got the one thing on here right now, the cold tube for shotgun mic. I put it on myself. Side note, what preamps are these in these XLR headphone jacks? Because they are the best sounding preamps on any Blackmagic camera I've ever heard, period. Was doing an interview recording, doing some BTS recording, which I'll come back to in a minute, on a TVC, super interesting. These mics, these shotgun mics, holy crap, the audio is excellent. Someone find out what the preamps are right here, because they are very, very good. Which then leads me to maybe, I hope I'm not jumping the gun, let's chuck in a few negatives actually. Just quickly, look at this. Tally light, super, super bright. I can't find a way to turn this off or down so far. Very distracting to your actors. I might put tape on it. Nothing worse than that light turning on when an actor's trying to stay in the scene and just getting blasted by red. Slash, that red could bleed into your scene if you're shooting in lower light. Not great. Also, stop recording. Second thing, in the menu, it says I can adjust the brightness of the EVF here. It doesn't change the brightness. So right now you're set to one brightness setting on the EVF. To the EVF, this comes off really easily. It's fallen off like 10 times already, just putting it in and out of its case or in and out of my camera bag. Blackmagic, please make a much like tighter elastic for this. I don't want to have to buy a new one of these every 2 months. This is an optional one. This comes in the case. You have your typical rubber eye cup. I find they're nicer to mash into your eye. They're more comfortable. What else? Yes, right, so the TVC. So we had an Alexa Mini LF on a jib as our main camera. Brought this along to just shoot BTS. We wanted to see how far we could push this in that environment. It was great because we were shooting the setup, and then once the scenes were lit and ready to go, we'd sneak this in and actually shoot the lighting setup. This looked like it was the partner camera to the TVC. Some of that BTS footage looked like it could have gone into the TV commercial. So a few notes. Smidge more dynamic range than the Mini LF, for sure. You can see it on this monitor when they're side by side. Same lenses we were using, pretty fair comparison. What blew me away, this is the main thing. Even everyone looking at this on that shoot, when we were looking at the footage, we were just laughing. The detail, holy crap, the detail. It makes the Mini LF look like it had a filter on the lens when it didn't. It looked like we were purposefully stacking filters to soften and smoothen this image. I don't want you to get the wrong idea. I'm not saying this is this like weird, sharp, bland image. No, no, no. The detail, like, it is very hard to explain. I've shot on a lot of cameras, from the big ones, the Raptor X, the Venice. I think I shot on a Mark II, a couple of Alexas, all great. Like I said before, I think I said it in the first half, if you can't get a good image out of a camera like this or any of those cameras, it's probably you and not the camera. The amount of detail in the image I've never seen before in a cinema camera. I'm gonna put that out there. I don't think there's any camera at the moment, besides maybe the brand new Alexa 265, which came out today. I'm now dating this video. Even having this camera right now pointed over here, this boring scene of my laptop bag on my chair and a speaker, the detail's unnatural. Not in a bad way, I shouldn't use terms like that. Best way to explain it, and I've heard a few people say it, it is a very, very modern looking image, and I'm very excited to put on a bunch of vintage glass. I like vintage glass. I've owned it on and off through the years. And I've often sold it. Actually, I've sold all my vintage glass. I don't have any at the moment because I like it for a small amount of time. Then I get home, then I try to push the footage and it's become a little bit too soft, or all the vintage effects are so baked in. I'm like, well, I'd rather have a slightly cleaner image and then I can push it into there in post if I could be bothered. I go through cycles where I love vintage glass, so I buy it. I should stop buying it because then I just sell it 6 months later. But this camera, with this detailed image, I keep looking down because I'm just, there's my kitchen, by the way, if you can see that. I'm very excited to get those old lenses on this sensor. That mix is gonna be something phenomenal, phenomenal. I've already had some soft vintage glass on here. It's so funny. People are still going, those lenses are soft. I'm not sure. I think it's all personal preference. Those soft vintage anamorphics on here to me looked razor sharp. And I think maybe these are people who only use very modern anamorphics on these kinds of cameras. Not this one, but Alexa's, Venice's, Sony's. So yeah, that is a big thing. Old glass, I want to put on some wacky lenses on here and see what happens, because I'm gonna call it, I'm gonna say it right now. I think this is the best image in the world from a cinema camera. Everyone has their favorite sensor. The only thing I think that trumps this at the moment is maybe the Alexa 35, the amount of dynamic range in there. There's another couple of stops over this. Like I said, side by side, you can actually see that this has more dynamic range than the Mini or the Mini LF. There's something about the image. It could be the detail. I know on paper, they're pretty much neck and neck. They're about the same. They're both scraping about 15 stops. Usable. That's going into the shadows. I'm not getting technical. It's not a technical review. It's just what I've seen in post. The footage is crazy how much you can push it. I think it's the detail. There's so much information in there. You gotta hire one of these, stick on whatever lenses you want, get home and look at the footage, and you will see what I'm talking about. It's extremely hard to explain what this looks like. The detail, I'm talking about like pores in the skin, lines, like creases and folds, and the texture of shirts and clothes and hair. You can almost feel it. The image is so tactile. That is the strongest suit of this image, plus the mountains of dynamic range. Also, I've been using ARRI conversion LUTs on this raw footage, and it's pretty much ready to go out of body, which is very handy. I'm not a huge fan, to be honest, of the Blackmagic 709 LUT, but the ARRI LUTs work beautifully with this color science from this camera. They look really, really nice. 98% similar to what ARRI is doing with their skin. This is Blackmagic's got their own slight skew to that look, but it's very similar now. What else? We talked about the buttons, which I love. We talked about the monitors, which I love. Oh yeah, because it's heavy, when you got this on your shoulder, you really want to balance it. I mean, that's a given. Any big camera on your shoulder, you want to balance, but this one you really want to balance. It's heavy. Typically, I'll get my cameras close. I'll chuck them up. If they're tipping one way or the other, I just kind of wrestle it back into position. This sucker on a big shoot, put in the effort to balance it as best as you can, because it's going to kick your ass, because it's a chunky boy. What else? Oh yeah, the locking EF mount. I don't know. All my lenses can be converted to PL. Besides this one, the only reason I have EF mount installed on this right now is because of this lens. This is my non-cinema lens. This is my Tamron G2 24-70, but it's stabilized, which is super handy for, I do a lot of like corporate events and some documentary stuff where I'll go handheld. Just having a little bit of stabilization in there, where if I settle, the image actually looks like it's on sticks, which is really handy. You can only get this lens in EF. That's the only reason I have the EF mount on. Otherwise, I go full PL. I kind of flip back and forward sometimes. I'm like, should I just do it and sell this and whatever? But then I get a gig where I'm like, I really need a stabilized lens. So, but yeah, locking EF. You tell me what you think. Is it overkill? Is it needed? I don't think EF's, I don't ever feels like it's gonna come out. Unlock it. Oh, you know what? Oh, there's like 0.5 millimeter of play. If I lock it, nothing. Okay. Okay, we just found out something together. Okay. I gave myself an answer there. When you lock this sucker, the lens doesn't budge. Wait, 0.00001 of a millimeter. It is. Steady. Versus unlocking it. Yeah. There's like a mil under 0.5 mil of play. Okay, there you go, guys. There's the answer. Locking EF. That's great. Doesn't shift whatsoever. Yep. That is about it. Like I said, not a technical review. Favorite things: the hard drive, the screens, the glowing, the light up buttons. Wow, that's good. The preamps, best EVF in the world. Fight me. I don't know. Maybe it is. You guys look through it and tell me what you think. There's a lot to love about this new EVF. Not technical. I was about to go through inputs and outputs. No one cares. I don't care. You'll care when you're on set and you need them. Menus are all the same. All of this is very familiar. It's all very familiar. If you've had Ursas before, you can pick it up, start shooting straight away. You know where the buttons are, you know where the menu is. You just get a whole mountain of new incredibleness, including all the dynamic range, the crazy detail from the sensor. That detail, by the way, just really quickly, seems to carry over 12, 8, 4K. They all seem to still have this insane detail. Even 4K, there is something about the image here. Futuristic film look. I'm very excited to shoot a feature on this sucker. I need that cage. Someone make a good cage. Now, we need it. I'm probably gonna leave it there, and I might make another video later. Oh, I forgot, and I forgot last time I made this half of the video, which blew up. Am I recording? I am recording. USB-C ports on top. This is kind of technical, also kind of freaking cool. I may have mentioned it in the first half that this EVF is USB-C image and power, works with any USB-C cable. Amazing. USB-C ports here. I got out my follow focus motors, which also take USB-C. Both these ports powered both motors, which is incredible. So I'm not quite sure yet. Do these send signal as well, or are these ports just power? I could answer that myself by just going to the website, couldn't I? But someone answer it for me. Put it in the comments. They're definitely power, but do they also output image? Things I don't like. The weight. You can't turn this screen off. The battery is power hungry. It churns out a ton of heat. It's not overly loud, but it's a little bit loud. I don't know how to offload this data to a DIT on set because I can't give him the Ethernet because I need the camera, and he has no way to use this sled, and I'm not gonna buy another one of these yet. That's about it for now. I'm gonna say it again. Very subjective, because everyone likes cameras for different reasons. This is by far, people use the term democratizing the cinema world, or democratizing making movies. I think this camera is the first time ever that that's actually happened. I would pick this right now because of the drive, needs a cage, because of the drive, the detail in the image, this open gate, don't wanna get technical. The way this operates and feels and works and looks, it feels like 2024. I know ARRI is 35 and now their new 265 has a similar feel. Everyone's pushing a little bit more towards this more futuristic, especially the construction of it as well. It feels like a modern camera. This feels hyper modern. This feels like we're living in 2030. I would pick this over anything else I could shoot on right now. Anything. If a client says they have a budget to hire gear, I say, let's just shoot on this. There's no need to get anything else. Maybe the Alexa 35, maybe. I really like an open gate full frame look. Open gate's starting to trend at the moment. Anyone seen Saltburn, that beautiful square aspect ratio? I could totally be wrong. Maybe that was shot open gate. It was shot on film though. Yes. Guys, get this camera if you can afford it. For the image, nothing. Everyone says this about Blackmagic. It's like one of the staple comments. For the money, you can't beat the image. I've never really said that. I'm like, yeah, they're fine. They're fine cameras. They're really good. You can work the footage pretty well. This is the first Blackmagic where I'm like, you know, I don't need to hire anything. I'm just gonna use this on every shoot. 'Cause nothing else in the world at the moment. I'm not improving by hiring anything else. The image isn't gonna be any better by getting another camera. I've just gotta be better. If I can't make this look good, the problem's me. So yeah, I'm gonna leave it there. Oh, haha, tricked ya. I did this in the last video as well. The last half of this video that didn't work out very well. We need a handle here. I've always had a side handle on my Ursas. If I'm going run and gun, I hold it on the side. Can't do that. Hopefully when a cage comes out, a good cage, we'll have a bar here. We'll have like a NATO rail or something, and we can put a rosette at the bottom and a handle right here. Would be lovely. Some of you might say, well, it's gonna be on a base plate, or it's gonna be on a shoulder mount, or a VCT, or a dovetail plate, or something. But I don't always want that. Sometimes I will go to a gig, I'll have my camera saddle, I'll have this, and I just want to be able to have that grip on the side and I'll have nothing underneath it. It's just a shell, a cage, and a handle. Give me that, and this camera's wonderful. Did I talk about weight? I probably did. It's heavy, you'll see that. Try and get smaller batteries. I'm gonna get a couple of smaller ones just to help try bring the overall weight down. EVF weighs nothing, so that just lives on there. Handle weighs nothing. Both of these feel kind of fake. They feel like they're hollow, but they are beautifully made. All right, guys, cool. I'm just gonna keep blabbing on. I'm gonna wrap it up there, and I'm gonna put this into DaVinci and finish this video so you guys can watch it. Check me out at youngonestudio.com. There'll be some films and projects and stuff up on there shortly with this camera. So far, everything on there is still like the Ursa 12K, the G2, the Cinema 6K, even some old 6K Pro footage on my website. I'm a Blackmagic guy. Mixed in there is some ARRI, some RED, some kin affinity. So you can spot it, depending on the project. That's a bit of a test for you. Okay, I really am off this time. Thank you very much, guys. Best cinema camera in the world at the moment? Question mark? I mean, there's a lot that goes into making a cinema camera really great. They all have great things. They all have not so great things. First time Blackmagic's made a camera that actually goes in with the pack in terms of flagship cinema cameras around Hollywood. Very interesting, very affordable. Try one out for yourselves. Check out that detailed image. And good luck getting the data off if you don't have Ethernet. That's all for now. See you guys.